Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Hello once again, respected viewers. Welcome to another discussion in which we're going to talk about the commander of Faithful Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, actually in the book which has been written by Brother Ali, who is in the studio right now with me. So, without talking more, I'm going to say salam to Brother Ali to see what we can reach tonight, inshallah, through his book. Salam, Brother Ali. Thank you so much for being with us.
Alaikum assalam, and thank you for having me again and again. And, in the name of God and with God's grace, as I always say, we can get in today's conversation and see
very good.
What comes out of it.
Inshallah. Actually, every night, in every discussion, in every conversation, I really learn beautiful things from another angle, from another point of view that you just describe it. But
it's funny because sometimes I learn myself just from talking a new point of view, a new perspective that I reach by speaking with someone else. So it's not so much we are discussing my book, yet I'm learning from your questions.
But in every conversation, one can learn something new.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You always can learn if you keep a broad mind and perspective that people are different, people are separate, and they will always have their own perspective coming from their experiences and backgrounds. And the more you can take and build on those and connect those, the more love you can create.
That's great. That's great. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. So one need not to close his mind. We need to have our minds open.
Freedom always. Yes.
Yeah. Another chapter actually is going to be discussed tonight, and the chapter in which you have talked about a very unique, special moment in the life of Commander of Faithful Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And I would like you to talk about the connection between the title and the history which happened, which you just talked about. I would like to tell the history, to just remember it to the respective
Yes, you should,
viewers.
because you just said a unique moment or special moment in his life, and I'm thinking his whole life is unique and special. So which moment are you talking about?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for noticing this. Actually, every single point of the life of Commander of Faithful was unique, but this is more talked about.
Okay.
But maybe not in the point of view of love. I don't know. Let's talk about it and see what happens. In the Battle of Khandaq, when the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, they all just dig Khandaq, dig all around the Medina, the place that they were. They tried to force the enemy not to come towards them, and they can just defend themselves better.
They dug a trench around the area, and the space was wide enough.
Yeah, it was so wide. Attack. It was so wide. But Umar ibn Abdul, who was one of the most powerful soldiers, or the commanders, let's say, in the enemy army, he could just leap over the Khandaq, and he came, and he was so strong. Muslims knew him, and he said that, who is going to fight me? And today I'm going to vanish you. I'm going to wipe you out of the earth, let's say, just in this way. And no one was able to face him because he was so strong.
No. Remember, it's not that nobody was able to face him because he was so strong. It was nobody had the faith strong enough to face him in God. Then the person who stood up and said, I will face you.
The person.
Yes. Who was the person who stood up and said, I will face you?
You are saying it was the faith. They hadn't faith, but
this enemy comes and he says, who will face me? Correct?
Yeah.
Everybody sees him and they're scared.
Yeah, they're scared because
who is the one person who said, I will face you?
I'm not getting that point yet. People, those Muslims who were with Holy Prophet, no one said, okay, I'm ready, except one person who was Commander of Faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam.
So right there is a differentiation of the level of faith from one person to another, because Imam Ali at that point was not
he wasn't that
strong, great, giant Hercules type of person that he felt, oh, this is nothing. It wasn't a physical fight. It was a faithful fight.
Faithful
So
fight, yeah.
strength, inner strength, your core strength comes from love. You see? Sometimes you don't think that way. You think strength comes from muscle.
From the muscle,
It doesn't. Strength comes from your love. How much love, how much faith do you have in God?
And exactly, it is where Amr ibn Abdul, when Commander of Faithful, when he came in front of him, he said that, no, I don't want to fight you because you are still a little boy.
Yes.
So he just underestimated the Commander of Faithful. Anyway, the battle starts. Those three who just came, there were three who came, they start to battle, and Commander of Faithful starts to battle to fight with Amr ibn Abdul. Here, in this occasion, in this scene, something happens. When Amir al-Mu'min Ali Abi Talib alayhi salam could just, it was just maybe a sword, one bit of sword to finish everything. Umar ibn Abdul spilled on the face of Amir al-Mu'min Ali Abi Talib alayhi salam. So Commander of Faithful just...
Yes, it was the last act of hatred on his behalf.
Yeah, because he could do nothing anymore. And he said that, okay, I'm going to finish, so let me just show my hatred towards this person who just defeated me. But Amir al-Mu'minin didn't kill him at the same time. He just went, just walked around a little bit, and then he returned and just finished him. All the story is just like this. Maybe I'm not able to describe it, in a very detailed and beautiful moments,
Right.
As you do, as you're the writer. But the question which I would like you to describe us about more in this episode is that your title, you have just brought this idea, this event in your book, and you have chosen the title of Purity and Love for that. I would like you to describe more about the connection between this topic and this event, and where could you find the love inside it? Two people are killing each other. Where's the love?
So, like you said, the climatic moment in this, one-on-one battle was, as you said, the person is down. It's the end, and he spits on Imam Ali. Imam Ali can, at that moment, basically just, like you said, hit him and it's over. The person's dead, and there goes that. He returns and he comes back, and he still kills him, right? It's not that he doesn't kill him. He returns and he kills him. What is the reason that he takes a moment, goes back and comes back? The reason for that moment is he was fighting for the love of God. He was fighting for the path of God. He was fighting to enlighten people, to open the door to the love of God. He was fighting in defense for the message of God that the Prophet was delivering. Every sword fight he was in, every move of the sword, every defending position he was in was done for this love of God. Now at this point, the guy spits on him. And all of a sudden the Imam feels he got angry that he was spat on. He felt personally, how dare you spit on me? And he raises his sword to kill him, and he thinks, wait, I'm not killing him for the love of God anymore. I'm killing him to show him I am stronger than him, and I just killed him because he spat on me, because I am better, I am bigger. My ego is transcending right now. You see? So, I'm not allowing that to happen. No way. I don't have an ego. So I'm going to move back. I'm going to take a few steps, calm myself down. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to finish him off based on that love of God that I am enshrined in. That's the way I was brought up in the family home that I was brought up in. So the way you connect this is there may be moments in life that you must make harsh decisions, that you must choose between difficult spots to be in your life. Yet, it doesn't mean that you have to delineate yourself from being pure and being continuously on that path in love to God. So, If I am faced with a situation that is negative, I can choose to either fight that negative situation because of its negativity and to tell them it's negative and to show them it's negative, or I can fight it to bring that negativity to a positive that can help us reach on the loving path. In both cases, I'm fighting the negativity, right? It's the same fight that's going to happen. I'm going to stand and protest in front of that negativity. However, on the one hand, I am showing authority, and on the other hand, I'm showing love. So I think, for example, let's take an actual example. There was a writer like myself. His name, he sold a lot more books than me, but his name's Salman Rushdie. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah, sure.
So he wrote a book. And in this book, there were negative connotations of different things presented. Some people said, kill him.
Yeah.
You know, they said, kill him. And other people said, no, why kill him? Let us read, let us see what he has written, let us respond to what he has written, and let us correct the evidence that we can present, and let us take his theory and bring it down. So, if he has created negativity in the theory by chopping his neck off, you didn't change the theory. The theory still stands. It's here. Nothing has changed in it.
You don't correct the theory.
The only thing you did is you sold more of it. You actually are supporting him.
Yeah, it's supporting him, yeah. So
because when that book first came out, he was not selling copies and copies of it. When the whole news coverage came that he needed protection and people were after him and he had written and he must be killed, he has spoken against Islam and you know everything that happened, the whole world wanted to know what is in this book. And especially in countries that the book was, you know, prohibited for publishing and sales, people were paying, you know, 10, 20 times over the price of the book just to illegally get it and read it and give it to their neighbors, and you know, and it became such a huge ordeal. So you promoted by, nevertheless, nobody killed him, you know, on top of all of this, and his theory came out strong. Now, instead of doing this, the killing and stuff, and not touching the theory, there's another path. The other path is saying, dear writer, you have written a book and you have brought these 5 concepts in the book. In this book, I shall respond to you in the manner that will reflect on for yourself, first of all, to know that what you have written might have certain issues in it. So right now, I used, you know, the example of Imam Ali in my chapter where he fought in that battle. Somebody who hears me or reads me might say, yeah, you're right, this battle did happen, but the action of spitting, for example, didn't happen. The guy slapped him. Yeah. That is something I learned. I can go and verify whether my sources were faulty or whether, you know, this lady's sources who, you know, is teaching me is better than mine. So I'm going to change and say, yeah, it wasn't actually spitting, it was a slap.
I will research more.
Yeah, I'll research and I'll reach to the conclusion and I'll see what it is. Because it's an enlightened manner of reaching somewhere. And worst case, so this is one way, which is we are getting the writer to say, oh yeah, you know what, I didn't think of that, or I didn't notice that, or I was not educated enough to understand this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now rewrite, or I'm going to write another book responding to all of this, you see? And that's how academics works.
Sure.
Right?
So I think that regarding the academic approach of facing the writings and the, you know, the ideas, as exactly as you said, and we need to reply the writers exactly by writings, by answering their questions or just fixing their problems, their mistakes.
The point isn't that it's by writing. The point is in every field of life there is a peaceful transfer of information that we can have amongst each other without reaching a level of hate to try to resolve our issues.
So what I want to say is that as we are just reaching the middle of this episode, we need to just have a short break. And after that, I'm so serious to return to the whole point and just about what Imam Ali alayhi salam did, and inshallah we just talk about it. So let's have a short break and then we return back to our topic. Let's have a short break, every respected viewer, and we will be back again. Okay, hello once again, back to the conversation. Let's continue with what was happening in the battle and what is the relationship between the historical event which has been mentioned in the book and the title which says Purity and Love. Okay, Brother Ali, we're with you.
So I want to focus the rest of this part on the fact that Imam Ali's action here, you see, reflects in a way to show us that your intention and your committed action after your intention and your decision should always be for God. It should always be for reaching closer to that favorable state of being in heaven one day, right? So however you want to take this example and whatever historical background you believe in to reach to the bottom of this example, there's one common denominator that will always be the same. The Imam took a little walk around, came back and killed the guy. And when he was asked why he took a moment and came back and killed the guy, he said, so that my killing is purely for the love of God, right? We don't care about the different discussions and the facts of how many people were in the battle, what color of shoes he was wearing. Those things don't matter. What matters in this specific position, the color of shoes may matter in another discussion. It's not that it's not important. However, in this discussion, what is of importance is that we are trying to figure out how Imam Ali is showing us that if we dedicate our actions to God and our intentions are for God, that whatever we commit to in reaching that heavenly state of pure love is going to be done for love, no other reason. And if we ever see or feel or sense that our ego is maybe trying to sneak in and take a part of this challenge, then we have to stop. We have to completely stop. So you see the Imam, he stops when the person spits on him. And it is teaching us, as regular people, it is teaching us, witnessing this, reading about it in history, that, you know what, God forbid, I may react in a way that the ego boisters at that moment, right? So we're sitting here and, you pick up the water and throw it in my face. I get angry. I may pick up the water and throw it in your face, or even worse.
This is one reaction.
This will be the automatic kind of reaction that I may do, right? This reaction happens, why? Because the ego just takes over in a complete sense.
This kind of reaction, we can say that it is totally under the control of ego.
Yes. Now, the Imam has taught me a trick in life that helps me love. What is the trick? He says, get up. Get up from your place.
Change your position.
Take a little walk. The walk will calm you down. The blood that's boiling up to your head, the ego that's pressing out, the fuming like in the cartoons that's happening, the steam is not going to happen because you're calming yourself by taking that walk. You come back, you sit down, and you say, okay, this person poured the water on me. Let us see what this person has to say about it. And I ask you, brother, you got upset over some discussion we're having. You threw the glass of water at me. And after now, I want to know what hurt you, what affected you, and let's see if we can reach a way that you can understand my perspective so that you don't need to throw the other glass of water on me as well. That is the way we make progress. You see? So in that action, the Imam, what I want to exfoliate from that whole scene, that battle scene, is that the Imam is showing we have to 100% deliver our actions for the love of God. Love of God will never be for me to throw my glass of water on you, and even worse, and overpower you in any way and physically harm you. That is not, there's no love for that. There's no directing me to God in that. I'm not doing anything of the sort. It is sufficient that I take a moment, I come back, I collect myself, and I try with you to now, sitting here in a wet shirt, trying to communicate with you, to at least get the point across that there are differences, we can work through them without losing my temper, my cool, my love. And that is what Amir Mu'mineen Imam Ali is teaching. Do not lose your temper. Do not lose your love, the sight of love that you have that's taking you to God. Don't ever lose that.
And you know, psychologically, we also have got a hadith, a quote, which says that if you got angry, if you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting down, stand up. If you are walking,
always elevate.
Yes. Yeah, or just change your position. If you are walking, stop. If you are not walking, you just go and walk. Because whatever one does in anger, it will be madness. It's not through thinking. It will be madness, and as you said,
it's an ego reaction.
Ego reaction,
right? That's the problem. And what you want to do is this is the perfect example to teach you that you want to avoid that, and that's the teaching you have to take from that example. You see, there are many discussions that come out from that example, and there's many problems that arise from those discussions. Different sects, different groups, different historical accounts give you different ideas of what happened there.
I can add something else to our discussion, which makes it, I think that it makes it so much beautiful, is that when we just look at the philosophers, professors, those who just talk about good things in their life, they just talk. But here in this action, we see that Commander of Faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib, acted it.
Yes.
He is teaching us through his actions, not only by sitting on a minbar and speaking out for the people and not doing it. What we lack, to be honest with you, what we lack these days, is the action. We need, when a person goes on the minbar and talks about good things, we need to see him doing the good things first before all the others. So here,
yes, it's very different. I mean, you just brought to mind when you said philosophers and talking and everything. There was a Greek philosopher, Epictetus, and he said something closely related to stop teaching your philosophy, embody it. And I think when I remember that sentence now from reading him, and it's very true. When you act, you are showing people a stronger version of what you can say. So if you also notice the actions of many prophets that we believe in are historically, when you bring their actions, they speak volumes and volumes more than the speakings of what they do, right? So teachings are good, speaking is good, but it's very different in affecting you. Because say you are a doctor and I'm your patient and I've come and you've taken an x-ray of my lungs, and say I'm a smoker, and you tell me, Ali, you really got to stop smoking because your lungs, they're destroyed. You're gonna need surgery soon. And as you're telling me this, you are smoking and telling me this, right? You're saying, Ali, you really need to stop smoking. I'm not going to, although you're right, you're a doctor, you're educated in that specific field, you know what you're talking about, and you're reading the x-ray perfectly. You are correct, there's nothing wrong about it. But when I leave that environment, I'm going to say, my friend here, the doctor, I mean, can I really believe him? I mean, he was smoking and telling me not to smoke. He himself is smoking and telling me not to smoke. I can't believe that he has to be right, because if he's not following in action what he's preaching, then he can't be believing what he's preaching, because if it's the best right thing, he would be doing it for himself.
Or how can I have faith on him when he has got no faith on what
Exactly, he would be doing for himself, right? Now, if you were not smoking and you said this to me, and I know you, and I know you don't smoke, and you're healthy, and you exercise, and you eat healthily, and you live a healthy life, and you're 30 years older than me, but you look better than me and younger and healthier, then I'm going to believe you, because you act. Action is
so important,
is very, very powerful. It's very powerful to act in love. And love is an action. Love is not a speech.
And I'm so...
You know the word love? It's an action based.
It's an action, yes.
To love means you have to show act something in love, right? You cannot speak, like it just doesn't make sense. You cannot speak love. You have to act it.
Yeah, and actually in these 4 or 3 minutes that is remaining from this show, this conversation, I would like to see if we can just give some more examples of the actions of Commander of Faithful Ali ibn Abi Talib, which teaches us how to love Almighty God better. I think that one...
Oh, I have one that, regardless of what you want to say, I always bring this example. There was a time in the beginning of Islam where Islam was still a weak content, and the Prophet decides to leave, and the opposing parties want to kill the Prophet. So they plan and conjure one night, we're going to come and kill him in his room, in his bed. The Prophet that night, by the miracle of God, is able to escape them.
He knew the plan, I could escape him.
God has enlightened the Prophet in specific ways. The Prophet escapes, leaving Ali as the child who is sleeping in his place in bed. So when they come in, they think that this is the person covered in his blanket, sleeping and lying down. That sacrifice in his faithfulness to God at that moment, at that young age, is a symbol of saying, I am willing to do anything it takes to bring this message of love that the Prophet Muhammad is spreading, and allowing it to spread further so that people and the world and the future can benefit from this. I don't care that myself to be the leader of the tribe one day, to be a commander one day, to be rich one day. My uncle is a prophet now. My uncle's a prophet. Tomorrow, if you're a king of a country and I'm your good friend, I'm really excited. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you for a million things, right? I want a street in my name. I want so many, a holiday named after me. Because, but for me not to care about all those things and worry whether my friend is going to do things perfectly. I mean, the Imam here is showing that I'm sacrificing all the way for God, just for God, just for the love of God, because God has blessed me with knowing God. So I'm going to, what more can I want than to go to God? And this is my opportunity for, allowing other people to experience the same thing I experienced, the same love I experienced. So I'm going to lie down here and be the sacrificial lamb for other people to be able to enjoy the message that my uncle is bringing to them.
That's great.
And that's a beauty of love. There's so many examples from Imam, so many, but I think you'll need a few thousand episodes of episodes. I told you his whole life. The beginning of this show,
we just mentioned.
You were saying a unique position, and I said, I was thinking his whole life is a unique position. It's just you need to come out of all this socio-political discrepancies and really look at the person from the perspective of a loving human being and this loving human being's relationship with God. That's it. If you look at Imam Ali from this perspective, you don't need to adhere to this group or that group or learn it from different histories. You can understand the uniqueness of this person's place within the universe.
Thank you. That was a great conversation, speech about the commander of Faithful, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you, respected viewers, also enjoyed this conversation. Inshallah, in the next episode, we're going to have another topic. So stay tuned and have a great night. Thank you so much for being with us, and good night. Thank you.